We're live, right?
Okay. Yeah, we're live. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm right too. I'm right too. Thank you. So welcome. Welcome everyone who is going to be joining us. So we'll be discussing from Hello World to Congratulations, which means that we're going to be discussing how to get our first jobs, especially those that are just getting into tech and they want to go further with their careers. So I know that it's really difficult for us to be finding jobs. Like I do get a lot of people that are trying to break into the industry. They have the skills, they have the knowledge, but they don't know how to get there. So Dominic, thank you very much for joining us today to give us your insights, and we look forward to hearing from you. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you bring my slides up to the, or is it visible? Oh,
Yes,
amazing.
there.
Nice. Cool. Cool. All right. All right. So, my name is Dominic. I'm a software engineer with ZI. I work at ZI. I work mostly on the back end, but when I'm needed on the front end, I kind of jump in to do one or two, right? I'm going to be talking about from Hello World to Congratulations. And in between, I'll be sharing my story. I'll be sharing stories from a couple of other people who have gotten their tech jobs and how they got it, right? So let's get started. Right about, I'll be showing you the agenda. I'm going to talk about my story. I'm going to talk about lessons from my story. I'm going to talk about how you can get started, the importance of communities. You should create, you should showcase, you should network, and you should knock on doors. All right. So, what's my story? How did I get into tech? How did I start? Well, professionally, that's before I actually started writing code professionally and getting paid for it, right? I worked in a very small company doing something related to code. But then the problem was I wasn't exposed enough, or the company itself wasn't exposed enough to know what's proper, what should be done, and what should not be done. For example, we didn't use Git. That's how crazy it was. We didn't use Git. I mean, you say what software company doesn't use Git, but that's how it was, right? In the company. So we didn't really know what was happening or how things were supposed to be done, right? We're just like doing stuff and doing stuff. Then after the pandemic, I quit the job there and I got into a boot camp called Enye. Now in Enye, you had mentors who would guide you to build an application that was supposed to be used live, right? And while I was there, I was putting in my best, doing everything I could to make sure that the application was okay. And even away from that, every time I built something, I was always happy to explain it to everybody on the team. So I was always putting my best foot forward, everything I was doing. I think there was a time during the mentorship where one of the leaders of the mentorship said that they really liked the way I explain stuff. In fact, his words were, "You know how to explain stuff to someone as old as my grandma." It was very interesting. That really hyped me in a way. So at the end of the internship, at the end of the boot camp, yeah, we're supposed to be employed by a couple of companies, but I couldn't get employed. Then one of the mentors in the program, who knew me, who saw my work, was like, "I really like the work you did, right? When during the time you were in the internship. So I have a startup. Would you like to come and work for my startup?" And I joined the startup. I worked there for a while. It was pretty interesting. I learned a lot of stuff. And then after some time, the company shut down. I was out of job again. Then I had another mentor who took interest in me. He had an idea of a Twitter bot that will help pick people randomly when you want to do giveaways. So you say you want to give maybe 50 giveaways or something, and then to save you the stress of having to select people by yourself, right? He had an idea of a Twitter bot that will select those people randomly for you. So he gave me the PRD, just very, 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 very simple text, right? And he asked me to build it, and I built it, and he was very happy with that. So I told him that I was out of jobs, and he was like, "Look, okay," he was going to help me get one. I was like, "No, chill, chill. Let me do this thing myself for a while. And if I don't get a job after 1 month, then I'm going to come and meet you to help me get or talk to people you know to help me get a job. Fine. So after 1 month, I couldn't get a job. So I came to him and said, okay, I'm back. Help me do this thing. So he helped me get a referral. And that's how I started working in the company where I currently am. I had a conversation with the head of tech then there at the company. And then I started working there. And that's where I've been working tonight. It has been great. I've moved from software engineer, sorry, I moved from backend developer where I came in to senior backend to now I'm leading the whole engineering team. And it's pretty interesting. It's been a wild show. All right. So I was hoping that people will be around and I'll ask what lessons they have learned. But let's just say people are not around now. So I'm just going to go on to the lessons learned from my own story, right? One of them is that you should always put your best foot forward in everything that you are doing. If you can go the extra mile, very, very good. Always try to put your best foot forward. Don't just like build the API endpoint. You want to be able to explain to the front end engineers this is what is happening when you call this endpoint. When you write the API documentation, you don't just leave it at, okay, this is the URL, these are the fields. You want to put a description there to say, oh, this field, this is what it does. This field, this is why it is required. This is why it is optional and stuff like that. You want to always go the extra mile. Then you should always know that someone is watching. Someone is watching. As you are putting your best foot forward, somebody's watching. People always have needs, right? So they are always watching who can fulfill my need, who can settle my need. There is probably a CEO somewhere on LinkedIn is scrolling and looking at what people are posting. One day there'll be a need in his company and you just reach out to you and say, look, I saw what you were doing. I've seen a lot of stories like that, and you just say, look, I've seen what you are doing. I have this need in my company. Come work for me. Another thing is you want to network, right? If I had not networked, because while I was in the internship, it was not all about, I wasn't just all about, oh, let me just write this code and that was the end. No. I'll write code, I'll explain stuff, then I'll also meet my mentors and ask them, how's your day? How are you doing? How's your work? What did you do today? And stuff like that. So you always want to network. And networking is not even that of a serious thing, It's mostly about symbiotic relationships. But then we'll get to that. Um, another reason why networking is important is because hiring through resumes is a bet, and hiring via referrals is surer. Why? If you are hiring via resumes, right, you are not actually sure that what this person put on this resume is what they actually are, or whatever this person put on this resume is a true representation of themselves. But if you are a friend to someone who you trust, right, and it tells you this person is good, I've worked with him, you readily want to hire that person. So the reason why you are networking also is to let people know that, look, I can do this stuff. I've been able to do this stuff. This is what I can do. These are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. So whenever there is a need, they'll be always happy to call you. For example, I worked with my second mentor who got me the job, who referred me and helped me get the job I currently am working in, right? If I was not able to build that Twitter bot, or if I just backed out and wasn't able to build that Twitter bot, eventually, he will know that, oh, this guy is fair weather. I can't recommend him or stuff. But then I put my best foot forward. I was able to build Twitter bot. And he was really impressed, And so when there was an opportunity, he was happy to say, look, take this guy in. He knows his stuff. Yeah. So those are lessons from my own story. What are the other things that you need to know? Let's say you are starting from the beginning. You want to first of all look up what the role is about online. There are many tech roles out there. There's product design, there's product management, there's front-end development, back-end development. You move on to cybersecurity, software testing, site reliability engineering, right? So many. And this is quite interesting because when I started computing, when I started learning how to write code and stuff, I was watching a video from this lecturer. I think it was a Stanford University lecturer. And what really got me interested was he said something. He said that, look, you really need to know how to write code because there are a myriad of problems, a myriad number of problems, or so many problems you can solve if you know how to write code. And that got me quite interested. So wow, so just by knowing how to write code, right, I'll be able to solve a lot of problems. I'll be in my small cubicle somewhere, and I'm solving problems for somebody in maybe China or something. It was very, very interesting. For example, like I talked about my bot, the Twitter bot I built, right? I built the bot, deployed it, and I saw people from Asia using it. I mean, I'm here in Africa, and it was pretty interesting. It really got me excited about coding. So that's how you feel too. So there are a lot of things you can do, from product design to site reliability engineering. There's so many other things that are not even on this slide here. So you want to first of all look up the role. If you're interested in the role, you want to know what it's about, right? So you look up the role online. Okay, this is what this role does. Oh, product design. They design the UI of the product, whether it is mobile or it is you are using it on the web, maybe on your Google Chrome or something, right? You have product management that is actually thinking about, okay, how do I design, or how do we move forward with this app in such a way that it always benefits the product owner and it always benefits the product user? You have backend development, database administration, so many of them. So you also want to study job descriptions of the role. You want to know, right, what am I going to be doing on a daily basis? What am I going to be doing on a quarterly by quarterly basis? What's my job going to be about? Who am I going to be reporting to? What kind of report am I going to be giving? So you study job descriptions, and they are very much everywhere. If someone posts a job description for backend development, you see what it's about, right? Then you also want to ask, people are always very, very interested in answering. People are always very interested in talking about the things they do that they are passionate about. So if you ask somebody on LinkedIn, or you ask somebody on Twitter who is a backend developer, and they have the time, they will always want to explain to you, this is what I do on a daily basis. And I think it's pretty interesting because it's going to be more concrete, you know, aside from what you see on job description. Someone is going to be telling you actually what they do on a day-to-day basis. Then you should not. So when you get all these things, you want to start, right? And you will see there'll be maybe so many skills you have to learn, but then you don't have to fear. You don't have to be discouraged that, oh, there's so much to learn that I don't know. There'll always be something that you don't know. Sitting here right now, right, I have work to do. I don't know some stuff. I'll have to look it up, right? And then I'll have to use it to solve whatever problem I need to solve. So you don't have to know everything at the start. So many senior software engineers, there are things that they don't know, right? But as long as you are open to learn, as long as you are open to using what you learned to solve problems, it's totally fine. And then for a couple of other tech roles, or for a couple of tech roles, you can start from looking at what's on roadmap.sh. Roadmap.sh provides you with a roadmap for you to go from like beginner level to fairly intermediate level, and it gives you links and everything that you use to practice. Then you also have Free Code Camp. They have certifications, they have programs that you can take to learn front-end development, back-end development, and all this stuff. So this is an example of what you see when you get to roadmap.sh, right? You see that they have a roadmap for DevOps, a data analyst. If you want to be an iOS engineer, an Android engineer, an AI engineer, if you want to be a full stack developer, an AI and data scientist, you just go to roadmap.sh and click on one of these. You see a roadmap where you can start from, the branches you can branch into. So let's just say front end. You probably be starting with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and then they'll ask you to learn React or maybe Vue or Angular or something like that. Pretty interesting stuff. Then another thing you want to know is that you should join communities, and communities are always, I think, fairly always open, I think, and they are very important. For example, I said I was working in my first company, the one I did before I joined the bootcamp, right? And we didn't know about Git. All we just did was write code on our laptop and deploy to Firebase. If we were in a community, somebody would have said, look, you guys can. And the funny thing was, if I wrote code and I wanted somebody else to contribute to it, I will copy it, put it on a flash drive, and give it to the other person to copy. That was how it was. But then if somebody had told us about Git, right, there was no way we would have known about Git if we're not in a community. So what a community does is that it helps you gather, or it gathers people with like minds and aspirations. They are going to the same place. Like the people in this boat, right? They have like minds, they have the same aspirations, they are going to the same place, right? So that's what it does. And then it puts you in the easiest place to network, because I mean, all of you are thinking fairly similarly. You have same goals, you have same aspirations, right? So everybody's gathering resources to get there. So if you join, you'll be able to glean from the inspiration of people who are already there in the community, right? You'll be able to glean from the experience. If you are trying this particular method, somebody from and you talk about it in the community, somebody from the community will tell you that, look, I've tried this method before, it doesn't work. Why don't you try this one? This one worked better for me. Let's say you are building something and you need tools. Somebody from the community can say, oh, I tried this tool, I tried this tool. This one is better because of XYZ, and this one is better because of ABC. Communities are very important. They help you see things that you would not normally see. Like I've said, in the case of us using Git at my first company, right? They share information. You can work on projects together because you guys are. I mean, you guys have the same goals. You have the same aspirations. So you can, if someone brings up a project, there will always be somebody. Or if you have a project, there will always be somebody to say, okay, I want to join you in this thing. Maybe we can learn from you together and stuff like that. Another thing is that I noticed that recruiters are usually in these communities. So there can be recruiters in let's say a backend community, and they are watching. They are watching. They are watching people who are contributing to the community, who are helping others. And trust me, when that recruiter needs somebody to do something, that person who is always contributing will be the first point of call. For example, I'm in a community and there's this guy who is always talking about PHP. He's always talking about PHP, very, very passionate about PHP. Trust me, if there's a recruiter in that community and they need something to do with PHP, he's the one that they are going to call first, right? Because he's always telling people about PHP. He's always talking about PHP. Oh, this is what you can do with the latest version of PHP. Oh, if somebody asks a question about PHP, he's always willing to answer. So trust me, if anybody has anything, if anybody has any opportunity, any paid opportunity or whatsoever, and PHP is involved, he's the first person that will come to mind, because he's always contributing to the community in the area of PHP. All right. So when you join communities, another thing you want to do is to create. So you are learning stuff. And the good thing about the two platforms I shared, FreeCodeCamp and Roadmap.sh, is that they are very skilled towards you actually doing something with whatever you learn. So you want to be able to create. You want to focus on creating. You learn HTML, you want to build something with it. You learn CSS, you want to do something with it. You learn JavaScript, you want to do something with it. You understand? So you want to focus on creating. And there's a reason why I'll tell you. There's a reason why you should be focused on always creating, right? It's because when you need to let people know what you know, it is through the things you've created. So for example, if I create maybe a backend API related to something, or I do a design related to something, in order to let people know that, look, I can do this stuff, I have to show it to them. But I won't be able to show it to them if I have not created it, right? So you want to learn stuff and use it to solve problems. There's something there's a small application I built recently. I noticed that you want to post a thread on Twitter and you want it numbered. And if I wanted to post something on Twitter and I want it numbered, let's say I want to post a thread of 5 tweets and I want it at the end of every tweet to say 1/5, then the second one will say 2/5 to let people know that, okay, this thread is made up of 5 tweets and this is the first tweet, this is the second tweet. So I was like, how do you do something like this? It was a problem I was facing. So one day I just picked up my pen and paper and I wrote an algorithm for it, and I built a simple front-end application with it, and I was excited. It's a problem. It's a problem. You want to let people know that, okay, my thread is going to be made up of 5 tweets, or this is number 1 tweet, this is number 2 tweet, till the number 5 tweets. You can just copy the whole thing, paste it in that text box, and it will just generate the thing for you and tell you that, okay, it will even give you an opportunity to copy and paste, right? So in using what you've learned to try to solve problems, your own problems, other people's problems, you should not be worried about whether it is going to be simple or people are going to think, oh, this thing you created is very simple, I can do it in 10 minutes. It's not. No. There's a reason why you are doing that. You're using that to practice whatever you've learned, right? You're using that to practice whatever you learned. The difficulty level doesn't matter. The most important thing is, oh, I learned this thing, I used to solve this problem. And the thing is that in the work environment, it is one of the most appreciated skills, right? Employers are looking for who can use what they know to solve the problems that we are trying to solve in our company. Do you understand? So if you learn HTML, but you're not solving any problem with it, why are you working for me, or why are you working in a company? Do you understand? So it's very important that you use what you know to solve problems, and then you also want to write about it. It's very important. It gives you leverage, actually. Writing about your experience makes you ask yourself questions. Oh, how did I go about this? How did I go about this? Oh, if somebody else is trying to do this, what's the best way? You are sharing knowledge. In academia, in academia, the way you move forward, right? One of the ways you move forward is by writing papers. You do research in your laboratory, or you do research with maybe you go around doing some gathering statistical data, and then you do your research, you do your analysis, you bring out the result, you write it in a paper, and you publish it, right? That's how you move forward in academia. It's almost the same thing too in tech, or I think in whatever field anybody is. You have to share the knowledge that you've gained from what you did, so other people will learn and they don't have to go through the problems that you went through. So you have even helped them a little bit higher. You have solved the problem for them, not only by solving the problem, that's, let's say, from the tweet thing I created. Not only by doing that, I've also showed somebody else that, look, if you want to do this kind of thing, this is how you go about it. So you have created value, which is very important, which is what tech is about anyway, creating value. And you also want to showcase your stuff everywhere. You want to showcase your stuff. It's very important that you showcase your stuff. It's very important that you talk about what you did, or what you do, or what you are building. You may think, oh, nobody cares. People actually care. People actually care. They are interested. There's a quote which is right here. It says, if an apple falls from the tree in a forest and nobody hears of it, what's the proof that it fell? So if we are here in the city and an apple falls in the forest and nobody hears the apple fall, what's the proof that the apple actually fell? Another thing is, if you have something that will be of benefit to many people and you keep it to yourself, you are depriving other people, or those other people, of that benefit. So if I have, I don't know, an apple that cures cancer and I don't talk about it, I just keep it in my house, how are people going to get cured of cancer if I just keep my apple to myself? Do you understand? So you want to be able to tell people that, look, this is what I can do. You want to put yourself out there, right? If you have something, you have value to offer. So if you're not talking about it, nobody's going to know that you can actually solve this problem for them. Do you get? You should blow your trumpet. That's the summary of this slide. Try to blow your trumpet. You can post on LinkedIn. There is Discord. You can do YouTube, which is what Innocencia is currently doing. You can post on WhatsApp. Anywhere people are, you can post there. You can decide to write on Medium. You can decide to write on dev.to. You can decide to write on Ashnode. Very good platforms if you are trying to write, right? But you should showcase your stuff, right? And I also talk about networking. So if I hadn't networked with my mentor at that internship or at that bootcamp where I was, if all I just did was, oh, I'm just going to do my work and get out of this place, right? When he had an opportunity, he wouldn't have reached out to me. He wouldn't have even noticed me. But when I do little work, right, and I explain to my colleagues, I'll reach out to him and ask, okay, what do you think about this thing I did? I'll say, hi, boss, how are you doing? How's your day? Try to network. People are people. If you look at me and you think, oh, this guy is just a backend developer, and that's the definition you just give, what you'll be able to gain from me will be less than somebody who sees me as the human being that I am. Someone who sees me like the human being that I am would have a wider range of things to talk about with me, will be able to connect with me on more levels than just, oh, this guy is a backend developer. You understand? So networking is just about, there's nothing really hard there. It's just about building symbiotic relationships, right? How can I help you? How can you help me? Making you feel good, making you laugh is part of networking. You meet somebody, you make them laugh. It's part of networking, actually, because people are just walking around. Some people might just be like walking around with the sadness they had from the bad day that they had, and you just making them laugh, like lightens their hearts. So it's just about, look, symbiotic relationships. Let me make you a better person, so you make me a better person. It doesn't have to be transactional. No, it doesn't have to be. Look, but at the end of the day, there is a book I read that said that two countries that are always helping themselves don't go to war. So you get, so two countries that are always doing business together don't go to war, because there's a symbiotic relationship between those two countries. Yeah. So networking doesn't have to be always at tech events. Oh, I want to go to this tech event to network. You can network with people on LinkedIn, people you meet on Twitter. You can network with them there. Hi, how are you doing? Oh, I saw this thing you built. Do you have a repository of it? Oh, I saw this design. Where you get the idea for it and things like that. You want to be memorable. You want to leave a lasting impression when you network, right? And lastly, you want to knock on doors. Now, all these things I said, you don't have to do them sequentially, right? But let me stay on this slide, right? You want to knock on doors. You want to let people know that, oh, I can do this thing. This thing you said you are looking for somebody to do, I can do it. This is what I've done before, right? This is proof that I can do something. You want to knock on doors. Some people are scared of knocking on doors, and whenever I'm scared, I too get scared of knocking on doors too, right? But then there's this quote there's this song quote. I'll say a song quote from one of the lyrics of Coldplay songs, "Fix You," that says, "If you never try, you never know just what you are worth." So if there's an opportunity somewhere and you never try to say, "Look, I can't take up this opportunity," or if there is something that you can't do but you are stepping away from doing, or there's something that says, "Oh, look, there's an opportunity here, come and take it up," and you say, "No, no, 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 you don't want to take it up," but you can't take it up. The thing is, if you never try, you never know. So try, so you know. I mean, you don't have anything to lose anyway. So if you never try, you never know just what you are worth. You should try. You should try. Um, I think that's the last slide. This is just a summary. You want to get started, you want to join community is important because that's where you meet people, and people are who will connect you to whatever you are looking for, basically. No man is an island, as they say. You want to create stuff and you want to showcase that stuff you created. You want to network and you want to knock on doors. You want to embrace opportunities when they come, right? So this is me on the last slide here, hoping that soon enough someone will be shaking your hands and you'll be getting that letter that says congratulations on your first tech job. All right. Innocentia. I'll just take this to the first slide.
Okay. You can hear me, yeah?
Sure.
So thank you very much, first of all, for the great presentation that you gave us. I've
You're
learned
welcome.
quite a lot. I've been writing and
Ah!
my book is so for it now. So we have two questions here.
Wow,
The
nice.
first one says, in terms of reference, what will happen when the person you refer do not meet the expectations of those seeking it? Will it not have negative feedback to the referee, to the referrer?
Yeah, it will. It will. It will, unfortunately. That's why I've noticed a lot of people are scared of, no, I won't say scared. A lot of people are wary of referring folks. So if you are referring someone, you have to be sure that this person is going to perform above and maybe above expectations. For example, the people that referred me have seen me work and they have seen my work ethic. They knew that, look, if I put this guy in this position, he's going to deliver. So even if you are going to be referring somebody, you should be very sure that, look, this person is up to it. Even if they don't have the skills, you should know that they have the attitude to want to learn to deliver. Yeah, so that's, but it's going to be an unfortunate situation because hiring based on referrals is based on trust, right? And if you refer someone and they don't deliver, that trust is going to begin to, you know, waver, unfortunately.
I hope that question has been answered. If it hasn't been answered, please ask a follow-up in the questions. So there's another one. He
Mm.
says, to showcase your work on social media, who are your best audience? Do you follow people who are related to your programs or fields, or follow people who just have many of followers?
Whew. I don't know. I think just it's not. I think it's more about being consistent than about having followers. Followers will eventually come. I know a couple of people who are posting really great stuff, but they don't have as much followers as some other people who are just posting for clout, right?
Yeah, that's
Your
true.
audience will eventually come. People see what you post, and they will tell others about you, to say, oh, this person posted this thing, you are looking for this thing, this person posted this person post something about databases, this person talks about PHP a lot. Your audience will eventually come. So it's not, if you are starting, it's not more about how many followers, or yeah, it's not. The thing is, be consistent. That's what I've seen work for so many people. For example, I know there's somebody on my LinkedIn who posts about technical writing. She just started. She just said something like, "Okay, I'm starting a newsletter." She was thinking that let's say by mid of the year she will have what, 100 followers. She already has 200 followers plus, and January is not even ended. January has not ended. Our new target now is 1,000. But she has been very, very consistent with her stuff. So I think it's more about consistency. Your followers will eventually come.
I think I can add on that to say the numbers that you have that are following you, the people that you're following, they matter, yes, but they don't really have like a great impact because they may not be the actual people that find value in what you're saying, in what you're posting or stuff. I'll give you an example of myself because I started posting, that was in 20, I don't even know when I joined Twitter. But when I started school in 2018, I had very few people that were following me, very few people that I was following. I was just posting on there just for me, basically. That's how I started. I was just posting things so that I could come back, maybe to just as reference, or maybe just I don't know. I really, at the time, I really didn't know why I was posting. It was just something that I loved, posting my work, showing what I have learned and stuff like that. And then until I started getting followers, I don't even have like a lot of followers, just 3,000 people. But the amount of people that actually come to me to say, like, giving me opportunities, asking for things and whatnot, you would find that maybe, okay, say for example, this one, there are about two people that are actually watching right now, but it's not really about the numbers. There, those two people are, I believe, they're actually getting something. So it could be the same. You would have like say 10 followers, 2,400, 1,000, 10,000. But if you have like two people that are actually interested or find value in what you're saying, those
Engage.
people are, I mean, they're enough. Okay.
Mm.
And what you need, especially when you're looking for an opportunity, is one person that is going to bet on you. And if out of the five that you have, only one person sees value in you, and then they tell you, "Oh, I have this going on. Can you help me with this?" That's all that you need. So yeah, just keep posting. It's not really about the numbers, like he said, they are going to come. So yeah, the numbers shouldn't really intimidate you. That's all that I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So we have three people who are
Oh, you're
thanking
welcome.
you for your
You're welcome.
presentation.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay. So if there are no more questions or comments, then thank you very much, Dominic, once again
You're
for your
welcome. You're
very
welcome.
beautiful presentation. Like I
Thank
said,
you.
myself, I've learned a lot. If an apple falls down somewhere and then no one saw it, then it didn't happen. That's my main takeaway. So yeah, thank you very much once again.
You're
And
welcome.
if you're going to be watching this at a later time, you can still leave your comments in the comment section, and he will be around to respond to them. Or you can connect with him on LinkedIn. I tagged him on there, and also I'm just going to leave the his name in the description down below. Thank you very much. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Same. Take care.